Welcome back to Popes and Pinos. Let's talk a little bit about Imperator Rome. Yes, you heard right. I'm not going to say let's play a little Imperator Rome because I'm not going to. It's certainly no surprise to anybody that, or well, at this point at least, that Imperator Rome hasn't been doing particularly well, hasn't been received particularly well in its current form. And while I haven't posted or put out any critique in any form here, certainly you also noticed that my enjoyment of the game wasn't quite as big as I would have expected it from a new Paradox game to be. There are a lot of things here that I think are maybe even unfairly criticized. I think I never expected a new Paradox game to be super deep yet, because that's not how Paradox operates, right? The first couple of DLCs into the game are just sort of meh, and then things really get going. And I couldn't expect Imperator to be on the level of an EU4 that has years and years and years of DLC behind it. So I didn't expect that. But I think one of the bigger issues of Imperator Rome is that it is behind. It's a mix of EU4 and Crusader Kings, and I keep saying, and it's a bit facetious. It's not very nice. I keep saying that it has the character depth from EU4 and the strategic depth of Crusader Kings, but there's something to it. The characters just seem super shallow, and the strategy is just not as great as it could be. My brother, who also plays these games, good on him, he sometimes even watches these videos, he says something along the lines of he did enjoy playing Imperator at first, but he only enjoyed the parts that were like EU, and it's missing a lot of the parts that are like EU. Even then, if you guys would have been interested in watching this, I would definitely have continued playing this. I didn't hate playing this game. I'm still interested in running the Sparta thing and going, maybe actually getting that Sec of Persepolis going, but you're not. I have views in the very low single digits on these videos. And that's not a lot of view time either. There's like one person who watches the full videos, maybe, at least according to my YouTube stats. And honestly, with a full-time job, I can commit to having 2 videos a day, but not if nobody's watching them. That just doesn't make any sense. So I'm sorry if you're the one person or one of the 2 people maybe who enjoyed this campaign. I'm not going to continue it. That doesn't mean we're not going to play any more Imperator. I'm just going to wait for a while. Definitely, I'm going to wait until the Demetrius patch is out, which is hopefully going to fix some of the earlier issues. Maybe even the first expansion, we'll have to see. I'll try the game out once Demetrius is out, see if it improved enough that I think it's worth another try. Or maybe I'll wait for the first DLC or another big patch along those lines. I'm not going to give up on Imperator, definitely not. But for now, really, I'd rather be playing EU. It's just better, it's more fun. And there's not much in this game that goes beyond what EU and CK have been doing before. So for example, when Hoi 4 came out, Hearts of Iron 4, it also wasn't a super fleshed out game or anything, but I hadn't played any Hearts of Iron before. I tried Hoi 4 and it dragged me in for a while. It was cool, it was interesting, it was new, because it was different from what EU was doing. It also needed a lot of DLCs. It's a lot better now than it was on launch, of course, but it was still fun and interesting. Here, there's just nothing that is better than EU. The characters don't matter. Sure, when you're playing tribes, then keep your tribal chiefs happy, but that's just playing with numbers, right? And then you bribe them around and stuff. They're not particularly interesting. There are no cool events with the characters. Marriage doesn't matter. Rivalries don't really seem to matter much. Friends, they're just all numbers. It's very, 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 very shallow. So the whole character thing doesn't add much. And the strategy is just so less detailed than EU. There are other issues, and I'm not going to do a complaint about. I'm just going to try not to do a complaint about Imperator video here. But there are a few things that, of course, could see improvement. People have been complaining about the Monarch point system or the power system. I don't think power systems are generally wrong. I like it in EU, and I think it's still fine here. I think some of the issues, and they are going to address some of that, is that everything costs power, which takes a lot of the interaction that might be interesting out of the game, because you just have to spend the power on something more important, right? Oratory power is so important for making claims and all that, and fixing your country. That spending that on doing events, none of these. Let's talk to somebody else here. This guy. Make friends, spend some oratory power. Execute, spend some religious power. It's just everything costs power, and it makes these things even less likely to be used. This needs work. I don't think that this is bad. I think you can work with this, and I think EU works fine with the monarch point extraction. But boiling everything down to just spend monarch points on money seems a bit off. Also, this I don't like at all. The fact that I can just save up my military power until I get super cheap. What are they? These things. Traditions. That just seems really weird. 3,000 in the bank. That's odd. No limit. There are other things. There's lots of small things that can be improved. But I think on the big line, what needs to be done is flesh out the character system, for sure, to give a distinction between this game and CK and EU, and fix the strategy layer insofar that it's at least not super inferior to EU, which it is right now, I'm pretty sure. There are areas where you could gain more. The combat could be more interesting than EU. I can't say I fully understood it yet, so maybe there's a bit more in it even than I'm seeing. Like for example, this who you want to flank and stuff could be interesting. These stances, if they actually worked, could be somewhat interesting. There's stuff in there. So there are a lot of things that can be done with small fixes, but the big thing, give me better characters, better character interaction. And that's not just add 2 more buttons. We need events, we need things happening, we need to care about these characters. I don't even know what my people are. First of all, these titles are completely, it's an Archigrammateus, sure. I mean, that's historical, I get it. But I don't know who he is, what he does. Do I like him? Do I hate him? I don't know. In Crusader Kings, you have your 5 council members, and they do their things, and they're mostly there for their stats. But I know who they are, usually. I care about them being happy. I care about so much more about these characters. So yeah, that's one region that definitely needs work. The strategy layer, yeah. Many of these systems feel like they need playtesting and more polish. Like the whole major power, minor power thing could be interesting, but no, I don't take this city because then I become a major power and then I lose all my allies and get killed. Doesn't seem like good gameplay. I don't know. That's no fun. The modifiers to diplomacy are super weird. Like there's the -40 for, which is essentially unfightable, can't be covered, for no, you're another power on the same level as I am. But then there's this super high +30, whatever it is, for hey, we need help in a war, why don't you come in? Diplomacy doesn't feel like I can do diplomacy and think and insult enemies and make the right alliances and so as to get people happy, like I can in EU. It's more or less like let's have the right timing and then maybe spend some oratory power. Yeah, so that's also stuff that could see work. But we could go into super depth. I think there is a making of a game behind here. I just don't know what the niche is, right? Because you can't. It would be great if you had an EU CK mix that is insane. That is essentially has all the strategy from EU and has all the character interaction from CK. That would be great. I would love it. The one thing I don't like about CK is that the strategy is so boring. But that seems impossible because you have to make 2 games in one, and that seems really, really hard and would be very expensive. And clearly, the investment just wasn't here, and I didn't expect it to be here. But it lacks some sort of its own character. That can't just come from its historical Rome. And it can't just come from, hey, we have characters in strategy layer, because if you make both worse, which you have to, then neither one is going to be very interesting. So this needs a sort of something that separates it. And honestly, as much as it's a meme these days, Victoria 3 would have been much more interesting to me, because Victoria is a wholly different game from Europa Universalis and from Crusader Kings, and of course from Hearts of Iron. It's very, very different. This is not. Go more. I just think that, yeah, you have to be brave enough to go more different. And I don't know how they're going to fix this in here. I hope they will. And Johan is working on all sorts of things, and he's writing about it, and as I see the potential. Again, we're going to try it out. I just feel like maybe should have been a step earlier in development there, saying, well, this is just not, conceptually can't work if we don't find our own niche to be in, and they haven't yet. Anyway, enough griping about this. All I want to say really is I'm not going to continue this campaign, at least not now, and we can't really continue it later because the new patch, or the first ever patch, already made the save game here, Iron Man, incompatible, so we can't continue this on a later patch. But we're not getting an achievement anyway, because whatever, maybe because this is a preview version, who knows. So we're gonna have to start a new game once we decide that the game is more interesting enough. Do feel free to tell me in the comments, by the way, if you are interested in watching more Imperator in the future, what you think what that point in time should be, what needs to happen before you're interested in watching me play Imperator, or is it maybe something about my Imperator playing that stopped you from watching, because I know I have a lot of viewers, but a lot. I have a lot more subscribers than are watching these videos. So there must be a reason you don't watch this. So do feel free to tell me about that in the comment section. And of course, if you have any other ideas of what I should be doing with the spare time I have now, I don't have any spare time. But if I were to go back to a second video a day, what should that be? Tell me about that. Until then, go ahead, watch my EU stuff. Congo campaign is finishing up. There's going to be a new campaign afterwards. And watch all my historic stuff, all the archive things, if you need more of me. Until then, thank you guys so much for watching, and see you guys next time, wherever that is.